So, hello everyone, my name is Ishant Kumar, and today we are going to solve a problem. Fair division. It is currently 800 rated on Codeforces. It is a math, greedy, and DP problem. So, let's read the problem first. Alice and Bob received n candies from their parents. Each candy weighs either 1 gram or 2 gram. Now they want to divide all candies among themselves fairly so that the total weight of Alice's candies is equal to the weight of Bob's candies. Check if they can do that. Note that candies are not allowed to be cut in half. Okay, let's see the input. As an input will be given T, which is going to be the number of test cases, and N, which is the number of candies. After that will be given a sequence of n integers, which will be the weight of the candies. The weight of the candies will either be 1 or 2, which will represent their weight. If it is a 1, it will be a 1 gram candy. If it is a 2, it will be a 2 gram candy. And as an output, we have to give yes if the candies can be divided into two sets with the same weight, and otherwise, we'll have to just give no. So, where as time limit per test case, we have been given 2 seconds, and the space limit we have been given 256 MB. So 2 seconds is plenty of time to perform any operations. So let's see what the question is trying to say and what the question is asking. So as an input will be given n, the number of candies, and followed by n integers, which will be of the value 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 they will indicate the weight of the candies. Let's say if it is a 1, it will be a 1 gram candy, and if it is a 2, it will be a 2 gram candy. What we have to do is we have to check if either we can divide all the n candies among two people equally. It is written in the question that we are not allowed to cut any candy in half. So we have to make sure that we get a even number, since we have to divide among two people. So we should get an even number so that it will be able to be divided into two people without cutting any candy. So mostly, if you see here, we'll say that let's take the sum of all the n candies, and let's check if the sum is divisible by 2 or not. If it is divisible by 2, we'll say that uh, it will be uh, it will be a yes. We will be able to divide all the n candies if the sum of all the candies are divisible by 2, and if not, it will be a no. But let's say for some test case, there are two candies, two variants of candies. One is of 1 gram and the second one is of 2 gram. So let's say for some test case we are given something like this. An odd number of candies will, so in here n will be 5, and this is the weight of the candies that we have been given. There are 5 candies, all of them are of weight 2. So the total sum of the candies will be 10 gram, which is obviously divisible by 2. But in this case, we will not be able to divide the candies among two people because we have only 5 candies and all the 5 candies are of 2 grams. So let's say if we want to divide, we need at least we'll get 5 grams. So out of 2, since there are all 2, 2, 2, 2, all there are 2 numbers, we won't be able to get 5, which is an odd number. And to divide among two people, we must divide in 5 gram 1 and 5 gram each 2. Each will be given to both of them. But in this case, we won't be able to get 5 grams since all the numbers are even. We won't get 5. So From this we can observe that if the number of ones is 0 and the number of twos that we have uh, is is an odd, because here we have given 5 and the number of twos that we have is odd. So in this case the answer will be no, and for all the cases it will be some of the tricks will work. So for all the other cases we'll just calculate the sum of all the candies. If sum is even, it will be a yes, else it will be a no. So to solve these questions, what I basically do is that I find like say I find at which cases that we are getting no, because yes will get at many cases, but no way there is a chance that there's a just number of cases on which we'll get no. So I just try to find out on which cases we are getting no. So for this particular problem, these are the two cases in which we'll get no, and for all the other cases it will be a yes, else it will be a yes. So let's say if the number of ones that we have is 0 and the number of twos that we have is an odd, so in that case it will be as no, we won't be able to divide it evenly as seen in this test case. And let's say if the sum of all the candies is odd, let's remove this, and let's say the sum of all the candies is odd, then in that case it will be still a no, and other than all the cases it will be a yes. So only two cases are there in which we'll get no, all the other cases will get yes. So let's check the test case given in the problem if our logic is correct or not. So this is the test case given in the problem. So let's see for the first test case. There are two ones, so it will be equally divided. 1 gram of candy will be given to each, so this will be yes. In here we'll check the sum. In here also the sum is even. I'll just write it. Sum is even. What we have to look for is either an odd sum, or if we have zeros, or if there is no ones, 1 gram of candy, then we'll check if the 2 grams of candy are in an odd integer, are in an odd, what can we say, are in an odd group or an even group. If it's in odd group, then it will be a no. We'll just check for these two cases. If we find these two, it will be a strict no. Other than that, everything else will be a yes. So for the second case, uh, the sum is getting odd, so it will be a no. For this case, sum is odd, so this will be a no. Let's check for the third case. In here, it is easily divided. Just we'll just get the sum will be 2 plus 2 6, and 3 will take this 3 and take this 3 and we'll give it to both, so this will be a yes. And yeah, so this is the test case we have talked about. Here the number of ones are 0 and the number of twos that are present, they are in an odd group, so for this case it will be a strict no. And for the third case, the sum is odd, so it will be a no anyways. So this is the output that we are getting for our logic. Let's check the answer provided. So the first one is no. Where is it? So the first one is yes, yes. Second one is no, no. The third one is yes, and fourth one is no, then no. So this is going to be the logic for this problem. Let's check the code. So first of all, I have taken t, which is going to be the number of test cases. After that, I've initialized 1 and 2, which will be the count of ones that we have and the count of 2 grams of candy that we are going to get. Then I have defined a vector of size n, and I'm checking the number here. I'm checking the number of 2 gram of candies, and the number of 1 gram of candy. So here the sum will be 2 into 2 plus 1, since we are checking the number of 2 gram 2 and 1 gram candies. So how that will be, let's take the last test case that we got. It will be 2 1 2. So in here we have got 2 2's, so the number of 2's from here it will be 2, and the number of 1 is 1, so we'll just add 1 and multiply 2 with 2, so 2 2 4 and 1 5. That's what's happening. That's what happening here. We are counting the number of 2's and the number of 1's that we have in the case. And yeah, so for here we are checking if the number of 1's is 0. We are checking if the number of 2's that are available, they are in an even group or an odd group. If they are in an odd group, it will be a no. After that, we are checking the sum. If the sum is an odd number, it will be a no. And these are the only two cases on which we'll get no. All the other cases will get yes. And let's check for the first test case that is given in the problem. And yeah, so as I've told earlier, in these problems, I usually check for no's, negative points, because there is a chance that there will be a fixed number of negative points on which we'll get the negative value. All the other test cases will get a positive value. So let's check the first test case. This is problem number 1472B. Yeah, so that's the output that we got in our dry run, and in the problem answer it is given. Since the time is given 2 seconds, so it won't be a I've used in one iteration here and one iteration here. So the total time complexity for this problem, it will be just big O of n. Yeah, so that's all for this question. And the submission, same code has been submitted here, has been submitted successfully. So that's all for this question. I hope you understand it. Thank you.